Almost forgot to play that funky music. White boys. Hey, today we're at the Aerosmith of tracks because, like the song Dream On, will we be fools or will we be sages by the end of the day? We shall find out. It's a pretty crazy track. Of course, long shots almost guaranteed to come home. Absolutely 1,000%. Hopefully, some long shots in beautiful Chicago today. The weather is perfect around here, so hopefully the racing is perfect at Hawthorne Racecourse. That is where the free picks for guaranteed tip sheet are today. There's a link in the description. Kindly use that. Head on over there. Play those picks as well as whichever ones you feel good about at Kentucky Downs today. Of course, when the show is over, we'll go ahead and post all of our comments as well as a race replay over at horseracingtoday.net. There's a link down there as well. To catch yourself a wonderful red number 1 hat, click on that HRT gear right there. You see it in the menu. Over here, it'll take you to this. And somewhere around page 3 is where, probably page 2 is where you're going to find all the hats. You can see there's a lot of different things. You might want to get yourself some NFL items as the NFL season's about to kick off tonight. There you go. There's a sort of a number 1 hat. You can make it all red if you like that. I think Terry and I agree. We like the way the white on red looks as well. What do you think, Terry?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I like white hats.
Until they get dirty, right? I mean, that's what would happen to me.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get started with race number 1 at Kentucky Downs. Terry, how does the insanity start on this terrific Terry Thursday?
Well, it's a 1 mile race on the turf. It's a maiden race, a $100,000 purse, and it's for auction maidens 2-year-olds.
All right. Well, it means I guess you had to buy them in the auction, right, to get in there in that race. Well, the profile of a winner does favor stalkers. I noticed last week watching a lot of horses that were in the front as they came down around that turn into the backstretch right before they went up that hill. The horses that were up front tended to stay there. So you probably want horses, the bias hasn't changed, that are going to be middle forward. There is a little bit of an inside to outside edge at 1 mile on the turf. 10,000 simulations. I hope they help us here, Terry, to give us a sense of which horses do have a chance to be forward. Based upon our projected pace, which horses will get a race that fits right in their comfort zone, preferably a score of 50% or more. Q30s, I don't know how much they're going to come into play on a European-style track, but Kieran score above 30. Those horses have a tremendous chance to go wire to wire. Of course, we want horses that offer some value, so we're looking for our simulation odds in these 10,000 races to be lower than post time and par plus. What percent of the time a horse ran a speed figure of at least 75 in this point? That is the Brisnet average speed figure for the distance conditions at Kentucky Downs. Terry, take it away.
All right. Well, several of these horses show speed, but the 11 has the most speed. If it gets a good break and cannot break that inside post, it could get that quarter pole first. And then the 4 shows an overlay from about 7-5 to 7-2. The 8 shows an overlay from 4-1 to 15-1. Several of these horses show par plus numbers 6, 4, 6, 9, 8, 3, and 5. And then 2, 10, 1, 11, and 12 show par plus numbers. So.
Yeah, again, anything above 50% on the C-zone could be comfortable. I don't know at these places here. Here we do our trip handicapping and pace handicapping over here on the right. So we try to cover all the bases. E's are your pilots. EPs can pilot or co-pilot. P's want to co-pilot. PCs, they can really be anywhere. I call them the flight attendants because they can be anywhere on the plane. These are your closers, just like Terry and I, sitting in coach. The NC types, they've never flown. That's Sean. They're not within 5 lengths of the winner at the finish line. And, of course, first-time starters, they're getting on the plane for the first time, so we don't know what they're going to make of their ride. At the start, we do see that the 11 is indeed the quickest in terms of our pace. The late speed, where I think a lot of these races will be won, middle forward early on, and then turn on the jets at the end. You got 4 of them here that are a little bit better than the rest. And then finally, our top total pace, where more often than not, about 70% of the time, the winner comes out of the top 4, Terry, and 3 of those top 4 on the outside. Who do you have inside the winner's circle when it's over?
Well, I like number 9, Ragtree. He ran second in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating, and his best turf speed is fast among today's starters. The 4 to the Cross is my second choice. Ran third versus similar in his last race. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then the one Discombobulator is my third choice. Finished third in his last 2 starts. Has a trainer, wins 20% of the when taking a horse from a sprint to a route, and blinkers are added today. The 12 is my long shot. Concrete Cruiser. He has 2 seconds out of 4 career starts, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. Wins 19% of the races with horses in the first race on grass, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. We get $100 budget besides doing the pick 4s every day, and I'm going to start off with because I think it's hard to pick some of these horses and you get some long shots. I'm just going to do some boxes with exacta boxes. So I'm going to do $1 exacta box with the 1, 4, 9, and 12.
I agree. It's kind of hard. I'm going to start with the 4 look to Cross. That one last time out did lose to the 9. But this time around, the horse, any improvement off the debut, a couple of nice workouts, should be more fit. Number 4, and I think the inside track is a little bit of a benefit. Ragtree, the 9 horse, second only by a length last out, did indeed beat Look to the Cross. Same race, Eagles maybe the winner here today. Number 6, and Negetta, I have no idea. This is the 3rd horse in the race that, if it improves at all in its second career start, might be enough to win. I think the key to the race for the 6 horse is going to be how does it break. It's got to get out of the gates with a little bit more pop. And then finally, I'm going to go with the 8 horse, a little bit of a long shot in here. Gallo de Fuego. I don't know if that means the chicken's on fire, but I think that's what that means. Just needs to come out of the gates cleaner. And the late legs are absolutely there. I'm going to do a trifecta 4, 6, 9 over the 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 over the 4, 6, and 9. Because like Terry, I'm just looking to find one that's loaded up with long shots that pays off, and hopefully find a second one to put some money, house money, in the bank. I don't know how they goof around there, Terry, at Kentucky Downs, but let's go ahead and try to race through race 2.
All right, so in race 2, we're going to go 7 furlongs on the turf. Maiden race, $170,000 purse, and it's for maidens 2-year-olds.
7 furlongs. I think it's the only one we see at 7 furlongs today. Stalkers, 1 out of 8 went wire to wire. There's a strong rail for sprint out pass. 2 through 7 discounted. 8 and out get a bonus. Terry, what do you see in the simulations are limited here because of the lack of experience for many horses.
Yeah, a lot of them have some speed, but the 6 and the 3 show the most speeds, as you can see. So it just depends on who gets out of there. They could go head-to-head that quarter pole. 2 has a very small overlay. Goes from 14 to 1 to 15 to 1. 4 has a small overlay from about almost 3 to 1 to 7 to 2. The 5 has an overlay from 4 to 1 to 8 to 1. And then all but the 1, 3, and 8 have par plus numbers, and all but the 1, 2, 9, 11 have C zones. And look at that 3 as far as a Q30.
Yeah, high Q30. Good chance to be forward. Could go wire to wire. I mean, look out. The race shape, the 3, well, if it can get to the lead, we just said it could go wire to wire. It's going to be pretty competitive as a lone E. It does look like it's a little bit faster than all of the others, but they're all in a very tight window. Get bumped, get hit, get wide, could be trouble. 4, 5, 7, 10 want to close. The 1, 6, and 8, those are the trio that have not been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. 2, 9, and 11, well, those 3, they add up, which is interesting. So maybe just put them in your trifecta and you'll be all right. Terry, what do you see happening?
Okay, I like the number 10, Warheart. Ran second versus in a debut race, has a high percentage jockey and a high percentage winning trainer who wins in the horse's
Well,
second.
let's hold off on the picks because right now they're running in race number 1. And the 10 horse, Optical, has head to the lead. The 3 horse, there's a whole bunch of them that are kind of trying to get forward right now. And so it's a pretty competitive race at the beginning. If they're going too fast, you got a couple in the back, the 4 and the 9, the 2 that we have on top. Those 2 are way, way, way in the back. Lots of ground to make up as they go down that hill, head into the turn. The 10 horse right now, still Optical, continues to be on the lead. The 7 horse right now, a Probinator right there in third. Then you got the 10 horses. I don't know. They're all over the place. It's got a long way for the 4 and the 9 to get themselves as they're coming around the turn. Looks like the 6 horses in the lead. I don't know. They're very good at the camera angles there, I got to tell you. They're the best, Terry. They're unquestionably the best in the camera angles. So the 6 has the lead as they're going around the turn right now. The 9 and the 4. The 4 is definitely making up the ground. The 9 horse ain't doing jack just yet. It's in the back with the 11 horse. The 6 horse, well, if anything, if the last week's stuff holds up, that one's going to be pretty much a. Here comes the 12 horse right now as they come down the stretch. It looks like it's going to. Who the hell knows? It looks like the 12 horse has got his nose in front, but you got some other horses coming. The 6 horse, and the 6 horse is kind of pulled back away again as they go up the hill. Who the hell knows what's going to go on here? The 12 horse has dipped up out in there too. The 6 and the 12 looks like it's going to be the 12. Then this 4, 6, and 12. 4, 6, and 12. So the 4 horse did win. Then the 6 horse in there. I should have did the exact stuff too, huh? Classic Sensation at 16-1 coming in second. The 4 was your winner. I'm not quite sure who finished third in there. I think it was the 12 horse. I think. Let's see. Kind of hard to tell because that angle is like some of those British angles too, where you just have no idea what the hell's going on. Right?
Yeah, 12 got it third.
Yeah, and it looks like that then it went, I think the 10 and then the 3. So there you go. All right. Now we can go about making our picks for race number 2.
Okay, so I like Warheart to 10, ran second in his debut race, has a high percentage jockey, and he has a high percentage winning trainer, wins a certain amount of percent, horse's second career race. And number 4, City of Oscars, my second choice, finished 4th in his debut race. After steadying and going wide on the turn during the race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Sprint Out Past the 1 is my third choice. He has a high percentage winning trainer, and he has a bullet workout on August 28th. The 5, Asleep at 8, is my third long shot. He had a poor finish in his last race, but ran second the race before, has a high percentage winning trainer, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to bet a $1 exacta box with the 1, 4, 5, and 10.
I'm going to start with the 4, City of Oscars. That one, funky trimp at its debut, as Terry mentioned. Cleaner run today, and I think it might be one of the most likely winners on the card. Number 10, we'll go 4-4, right? That'd be a heck of a way to get started. Warheart, that one, just any second race improvement should be enough to find the winner circle. Classic Sensation kind of fits in that grouping as well. Another where any second race improvement is a threat to the winner circle as well. And another 6 horse where maybe the IRAD is going to ride at a big price. Number 2, the Fed's Plot. Yes, to give us all lots and lots of inflation. But this one perhaps is, in my view, the best of the first-time starters. And not a whole lot of them in here that have experience have shown that they can find their way to a par score for this race. Although you see a lot of par plus. And that's just because of the calculations and standard deviation and all that stuff. All right, let's move on to race number 3. No one said there would be a math class at the horse racing show, but let's go about our picks here for race 3.
Okay, it's going to be a 1.5 miles, and it's a turf race again, a $190,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won a race other than a maiden claiming starter or which have never won 2 races.
I tell you, I wouldn't want to be the race caller at that track. I can tell who's where. At a 1.5 miles. Well, the sort of horse that's won so far this year in the short meet at Kentucky Downs, 2 races. One of them went wire to wire, and the other was a co-pilot. So despite the long race, looks like speed's the way. You had one winner from post 4 through 7, another winner in 8 and out. So, I mean, with a little bit of data in hand, Terry, it looks like outside speed is the way to go. And, well, another one of those races where a whole bunch can get to the front.
Yeah, there's most of them show speed, and most of the best speeds on the inside. So it's really anyone's guess race. There's a 1, the 1 has an overlay 5-1 to 10-1. The 10 has an overlay from 5-2 to 20-1. And 15 is now out. He's scratched. And then several of these have par plus numbers, as you can see. And then all but the 11 have, and the 11's out too. So all of them have C zones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at all these strong C zones. This race, I mean, 1.5 miles, though, they're going to come out of the gate slow. They're going to walk until they come out of that turn. Here you see a race shape that's kind of tilted towards closers. So I mentioned that the 2 races so far, horses that got to the front, they've done exceptionally well. Early on, my boy Tony might be one of the faster horses. I've been Al Arabi, also a quick one. That's the fastest of the 2 speed horses. So got a left arrow horse in the 4. So inside speed with the 4 to the outside. Maybe those 2 do have the lead. Pilot or co-pilot, just stop there and make your picks. Brilliant Man, Yellow Brick. Those 2 will be coming the hardest at the end, although Yellow Brick looks like it has a pretty significant early to middle pace advantage over Brilliant Man. Our top total pace horse does work out to be Yellow Brick, followed by my boy Tony, Brilliant Man, and Swore. The 1, the 7, the 5, and the 10. 7 points clear of the rest. Strong chance that the winner is in that group. Terry, who are the winners in your group?
Well, I like the 12 Nostalgic one. He has won 2 races in a row, go for a hat trick. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then I like the 7 Yellowbrook. He comes in from Southern California after finishing second, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 6, Right Off Jerry, is my 3rd choice, ran second in his last start, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then the 3, Always Above, is my long shot, ran second his last start, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Okay, I'm going to play a $1 exacta box with a 3, 6, 7, and 12, and a 50-cent pick 4 bet. 6, 7, 12 with the 1, 2, 3, 5 with the 3, 7 with the 2, 3, 8, 12, $48 ticket.
I'm going to begin with the 5. Swore. This one is 1 for 1 at Kentucky Downs. Had a very easy win at the maiden special weight in its lone Kentucky Downs trip. And I wonder if the experience over that track is helpful or not. Number 7, Yellow Brick, the Elton John horse. Do follow the Yellow Brick Road right to the winner's circle. The lone turf run was his longest race. That was at 1 mile and 1/8. Missed just by a little bit and was closing in that race. Had it been 1.5 miles like today, probably would have won. Number 1, my boy Tony. Yes, indeed. Missed by a head, the lone time at the distance. My only concern is this horse's first tries off the bench can be spotty. Sometimes good, sometimes not good. And then finally, number 6, Right Off Jerry. A pair of seconds in its 2 turf races. Looks like this one likes the switch to grass and appears to be getting better. I, too, I'm going to do a pick 4, 1, 5, 6, 7, 1, 5, 11, 12, 3, 6, 9, 2, and 3. And I should note that over the last 2 days, between there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pick 4s. We had all 3 of them, with Terry and I both hitting the last one at Parks on Tuesday. I had all 3 on Tuesday, and Terry hitting the last one yesterday at Horseshoe Indianapolis. So the pick 4s have been working around here. Let's hope they work again.
I hope so.
Off to race number 4 we go, Terry. Tell us, where are they going to go to?
All right, so race 4, we're going to go 1 mile on the turf, $190,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won a race other than a maiden claiming starter, or which have never won 2 races.
Abayo Safan, thank you. We have some love for you too. Appreciate that. Hello from where you ever are. Yellow Brick is Frank Barnes' horse, Oz the author. In race number 4, again at 1 mile, we talked about that before, so keep an eye. There's a few of these mile races. Maybe you can get a sense of what the bias looks like today. Stalkers do great 13% of the time. They get to the lead, they keep the lead, and they do not give it up. There is an inside to outside edge. Well, we saw a closer come in off the 4, but still more inside than the 6 horse in that opening leg. Terry, what do you see as far as the data is concerned here?
Well, all of them show some kind of speed, but I think the 5 and the 14 will maybe go head-to-head to that quarter pole. And then the 1, 11, 12, 13, and 14 all have overlays. So the 1 goes from almost 6-1 to 8-1. The 11's overlay is 6-1 to 8-1. The 12 has an overlay from about 4-1. I think that's 3-1 to 15-1. The 13 has an overlay from 4-1 to 20-1, and 14 is from 8-1 to 15-1. 1, 5, 9, 11, 12, and 13 all show par plus numbers, including the 14, and all of the horses have C zones, but the 3 is very low.
Yeah, we got a handful of them. 1, 2, we got the 2, the 8, the 10, 11 scoring above 50%. You have the 11 also scoring on the par plus score. And man, maybe that's the one to take a look at right there, just off of that, the 11. All right, our race shape for the fourth race. Again, another one of those races that's kind of middle back. You do see the Sesame Street horse here with that 11. Lips Say Bliss. Sometimes those lone PCs in a field like this have an excellent in-race advantage because if they go too slow up here, can press forward. If they go too fast, can just sit in front of the wall of closers and then beat them to the finish line at the end. Does look very competitive at the start, although the outside horse, Polster, does have about a 1-length lead over the rest of the field, which are pretty tightly bunched up in here. It's a lot of horses to clear for the 14, so might have to work a little too hard. Degree of risk, that one will be working the hardest at the end, but boy, you look, that one could be way, way off the pace early on, and we really didn't see horses come off the pace do that well, although the 4 did manage to go from one of the worst horses to the first horse in that opening race. Here are your top 4 picks again, 14, 1, 5, and 12. Terry, who are your top 4 picks?
All right. Well, in this fourth race, I like 5. Palm Tree is my first choice. He is 1-for-1 at Kentucky Downs, has the highest last speed rating, tied with another horse. He has a high percentage winning trainer, can improve with Lasix being added, and he has a good workout on August 27th. Number 2, Clever Mischief is my second choice. He won his last race at Saratoga. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then I like the 3, Degree of Risk. He ran third in his last race, has the highest speed figure today's distance. His best turf speed is fastest among today's starters. Has a good 5 furlong workout on August 24th. My long shot is the 1 horse Into It. He won his last race at Aqueduct. He has 2 starts at today's distance, finishing first and second. And he has a high percentage winning trainer and has high percentage winning jockey Frankie Dettori. And then I'm going to play a $1 exacta box, the 1, 2, 3, 5.
I'm going to begin my picks like you, the same place with the 5 horse. That one is Palm Tree. It's another one of those horses that does have a win in its lone race at Kentucky Downs. Going to catch Lasix for the first time today. I think that's helpful, especially for a horse that, in my opinion, has the most upside in the field. 11, Lips Say Bliss. This horse is going to try grass for the very first time today, but the off-track record suggests that the horse could like the grass, and the breeding suggests it'll be no problem too. So one of the times, the things you kind of want to look for horses that are going from dirt to turf for the first time is the off-track or the all-weather, if they haven't run on grass before. Number 1, Into It. This one is the most consistent turf performer of late and usually puts forth a strong effort, fresh off the bench, as it is doing today. And then finally, the 12 horse Decanted. Second up is the same at the if the second up is the same as the last, maybe in the money finish. I get it. So I sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. So this horse has made 2 second up starts. One of them was a boom, one of them was a bust. Well, one of them wasn't really a bust. It was the same as it was the race before. So the horse will either be the same or boom. If it booms, the 12 horse has a chance to win. All that for a very simple thing. I'm going to do a trifecta box, 1, 5, 11, 12. A lot of opportunity, I think, to get some nice prices here. Let's see if I can get my thoughts together. Hello, folks. Good to see you both again. Long time no see, and thumbs up for me. So if you agree with Eloy and we're worthy of thumbs up, while you're watching on YouTube, kindly give us a thumbs up. On Facebook, follow us if you haven't already. There's a link down there below. Unfortunately, we can't stream on Facebook anymore because they don't let groups stream for whatever stupid reason. But if you're on Twitter, kindly retweet. Follow us if you have not. We would greatly appreciate that. Comments are greatly appreciated. This card is wide open at Kentucky Downs. If there's anything you see here that you like that stands off the page, please, pretty please, share in the comment section so that we can all take advantage of it. Right, Terry?
That's right. Absolutely.
All right, let's try to take advantage of race number 5. Hopefully we have something in there worth taking advantage of, Terry.
All right. Well, it's another marathon race, mile and a half turf. Optional claiming race, $80,000 claiming price if you elect to put your horse in there to possibly be claimed. Purse $200,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 2 races under the maiden claiming starter or state bred, or which have never won 3 races, or a claiming price of $80,000.
Yeah, so if you want to wipe all of that off your condition book, which seemed to be a lot to me at 1.5 miles. Again, we mentioned 2 races. One was won by the pilot, the other by the co-pilot. So they're in the front of the car. Both of them came from post positions 4 and out. So outside speed, Buffalo Girls. That's the way to go to the winner's circle in race number 5. Terry, and where are the Buffalo? There is a Buffalo Girl.
Now, again, there's several horses with speed, but the 13, 9, and 3 show the most speed, and the 13, of course, is on the outside there. And then the 5 has an overlay from 5 to 1 to 10 to 1. The 9 has an overlay from 5 to 1 to 15 to 1. All but the 4, 11, and 12 have C zones. I mean, par plus numbers, and all but the 1 show a C zone.
Our race shape for the 5th race. We see one couple speedsters out here, and then a lone PC. These 3 could get really excellent trips, especially if they can stay in front of the wall of closers on modest pace. Let's see at the start of the race. Yeah, what does that say? I'd rather be blessed. Okay, I'd rather be blessed, along with Call Me Harry and Tide of the Sea. Those 3 are definitely 6 points quicker than everybody else. They should go to the front and be able to do so without really stepping on the gas pedal. At the end of the race, Elusive Target, the 11, is the strongest of the closers. Should be ahead of some of these others in there, so maybe keep an eye on the 11 if you prefer the closers in this race. The 11, Elusive Target, is your top total pace horse. With the 3 and the 9, they're all a length or more better than the rest of the field. I know our friend Chris Parmalu would love these 3 green horses. Terry, what about you?
All right. I like the number 7 horse, Better Bet. That's my pick of the day. Has finished in the money in 4 out of 5 career starts, winning 2 of the starts, including the last race at Saratoga. And he has a high percentage winning jockey. Then I like number 3, Call Me Harry. He won his last race at Saratoga, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 6 is my 3rd choice, Camp Hope. Drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer, and switches to high percentage winning jockey. And then I like the 9, I'd Rather Be Blessed, as my long shot. He won his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I want to bet $10 to win and $20 to place on number 7, and then a $10 daily double with the 7 and 8.
It's going to go single, huh? That's a pretty tough call. Aggressive. I appreciate that, Terry, at Kentucky Downs. I am going to begin. I don't even have the 7 in my pick, so I don't know. I should probably just skip this race altogether then. I'm going to go with Camp Hope, the 6 horse, as my top selection in the 5th race. This one's going to drop out of a non-graded stakes race and has unquestionably the most upside in the field. I'd Rather Be Blessed, the 9 horse, as I mentioned, pilots or co-pilots, they tend to win. This one should be no worse than the co-pilot today. Number 3, Call Me Harry. A repeat of his last race, and I think he could be the winner too. This horse tends to pair strong efforts together, and all of the race internals were better last time out, and the saw should be a bit sharper with a decent workout between races. And then finally, 13 was a tough call for me over the 7, but this is another one of those horses that just has a ton of back class, has a win at Kentucky Downs in 2 races, and then the 7 was my next pick. As you can see, it made it into the middle of my trifecta here. 3, 6, 9 over to 3, 6, 7, 9, 13 over to 3, 6, and 9. That is an $18 bet. And the reason I went for $1 there is because I'm probably wrong. Number 6 is where we go next.
Yep, we sure do. And the number 6 is a 1 5/16 turf. It's $190,000 purse for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won a race other than a maiden claiming or starter, which have never won 2 races.
And at 1 5/16, they're at Kentucky Downs. The bias favors closers, although, so 2 of the 9 won on the front. The rest of them were at the back, so it's kind of a barbell. Be on the front or be in the back. There is a strong rail advantage for chilled. 2 and 3, they get smacked hard. 4 and out, a little bit better than fair, Mr. Terry. So speed does have a chance here, particularly if you can get it off to a good pace. But again, looks like a very competitive start here.
Yeah, they all show speed except for that 8. So it's another one of those who knows races as far as who's going to get to that quarter pole first. The 2 has an overlay from 5 to 2 to 8 to 1. The 4 has an overlay from about 4 to 1 to 10 to 1. And the 11 has an overlay from about 12 to 1 to 30 to 1. And then all but the 7 and 9 have par plus numbers. All of them show C zones.
Yes, indeed. A bunch of them in here with over 50%. The picture shows, as does our experience shows, as most of the races prove, really anything could happen at Kentucky Downs. Most of these horses, middle back, again, closers do have the edge, although 2 of them went wire to wire. So if you can get off to the front, do so with decent fractions, you got a good shot. Does look like the 12 horse and the 8 and the 5 horse and the 6 horse, very competitive at the start. Well, so many horses, just about anybody can be on the lead. Heart Spin, along with Parish Lane, Moonlight Gambler, Chilled, they'll be coming the strongest at the end. And they all have about a 1.5 to 2 length advantage down the stretch. So a couple of front runners, middle, maybe the 2 horse in here. A couple of those middle placed horses with the late speed. Moonlight Gambler does grade out as your top total pace horse. If you look here, though, Terry, you got a whole bunch, and then you got the International Invader to consider. Another one of those races where, if we could, probably 7 or 8 deep would be the best way to play it.
All right. Well, I like that International Invader. The 8, Queen Regent. She comes in from Europe after finishing second in her last 3 starts. Has a high percentage winning trainer. Lasix is added, and she has a good workout on August 24th. Then I like 12, Grinning. She's won her last race, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and she has a good workout on the August 25th. Heart Spin, the 3 is my third choice, finished third in her last race, has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 37% of the horses in allowance races, and she has a high percentage winning jockey, and she has a bullet workout on August 31st. Then I like number 2 is my long shot Moonlight Gambler. She has having a good year, finishing the money in 4 out of 5 starts. Winning the last start, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. I'm going to play another $1 exacta box. I'm going to box the 2, 3, 8, and 12.
So Lily asked about $1,000 for a buck superfectas. They had one in the first race already. Yeah. In race number 1, so if you look at race number 1, go back. It went 4, 6, 12, and 10. So we had both agreed on the 4. We both had the 6, and the 10 made it in the middle here. That 10-cent superfecta paid $121.17. So with the 4, one that we both seem to have the agreement on, the 6 in there too, Terry's 12, and then just mix in the 10, and there's a good shot there that you might have had that one. I think you'll see a bunch of them throughout this day. Mm-hmm. Off to race number 6, I'm going to start off with the 2-horse Moonlight Gambler. This one likes to run well when it gets a little bit of R&R in the barn, and it had a little bit of R&R in the barn. It's raced at Kentucky Downs. Does have a second there. Has a nice prep workout coming off the top. Last race speed figure. Moonlight Gambler going to be better today. Heart Spin, the 3-horse. Next up for me, making the 3rd start in a row for the very first time in its career. I dub those as finally healthy horses. And to prove that the horse is finally healthy, it had a dynamite workout between races. Number 1, Chilled. That one is got the hot rail. First time on grass. She can handle it. She has as much upside as any horse in this field. And then there's that 8-horse, the one, the International Invader. I almost put the 4-horse in there in its place. Queen Regent coming in from England, as Terry mentioned. But the races that it had on all weather, I would have made the horse the first big. But the 2-horse races that it had on turf, mediocre performances versus mediocre fields at mediocre English tracks. I put it in my picks just because it has great breeding. I just wonder if we're going to find that horse at an all-weather track before long. How much time do we have to race number 7?
Oh, a lot of time, 15 minutes.
Oh, we can probably get finished then. All right, let's go off to the first leg of the late pick 4, and hopefully we hit some of those because I'm sure they'll pay a lot, Terry.
Yeah, it's a mile race, and it's on the turf. It's purse of $170,000 for maidens, fillies, 2-year-olds.
And then at a mile, a bunch of those races, as we mentioned today, the most common distance. What we're looking for are horses that have the ability to be middle forward. They can stalk and get to the lead. You still got about a 1 in 8 chance to win. There's an inside to outside edge. So Jeweled City on that rail in the second start in its career could have an edge over the rest of the field. Terry, what does the data tell you?
Well, that shows me that the inside post and the outside post has all the speed in here, the 1 and 11. So it just depends, I think, on who gets the best break out of that starting gate. The 1 has an overlay from even money to 3 to 1, and the 11 has an overlay from about 7 to 2 to 20 to 1. All of them show par plus numbers, and all but the 8 and 9 show C zones. And if you take a look at that 7, it has a nice Q30.
So if you're going to play at Del Mar today, Jack of Trades says Madison Ray, ready to pounce. Put those 2 names in Equibase, find out what races they're in, or maybe Jack of Trades will be kind enough to share that with us. So he can send us the race numbers and then the cryptic codes to follow. I'm looking at the race shape here, Mr. Terry, for the 7th race. Boy, look at this. Everybody middle back, everybody back. 2, 5, 9, 2, 5, 6, and 10 have not been within a handful of lengths of the winner when they took the photo. 8 and 9, maybe just play the 8 and 9 because it doesn't look like either one of them have a whole lot to beat. Get to the front. You probably got a good shot there. Jewel City, that one is going to move forward. The 11's going to move forward today. They have a pretty aggressive early speed, as you mentioned, from the simulations over everybody else. See who has the late speed edge. Poma, Moon, well, that one has about a length lead, and then Moon over Choctaw, Daisy Flyer, and Minnesota Mummy. A lot of horses pretty tightly mixed in here. I think you're going to see a pretty competitive race. That's exactly the way we see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, half a dozen horses within 10 points. Get wide, get bumped, and then throw in the first-time starters. Maybe just cross out the 4, 11, and 10, and then pull them out of a hat from there, Terry.
All right, and I need to correct something. I said 16 minutes. My computer had frozen, so I think there's a lot less time for the next race at Kentucky Downs. But let me go ahead and tell you who I like in the 7th race. I like number 1, Jewel City. She ran second in her last race, has the highest last race speed rating. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. She has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then I like the 7 as my second choice. She ran second in her last race, has a high percentage winning jockey and a high percentage winning trainer who wins 23% of the races when chipping a horse in to run. Dairy Girl, the 3rd, is the 3 horse, my 3rd pick. She ran second in her last race. She has the 2nd best prime power number in the race. And then 4, Mad About Marie is my long shot. Her breeding suggests she'll like the grass, as her dam has 5 winners from 7 starters with a turf winner. And she has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 20% of the races. In the 2nd race, he has a horse run in. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 1, 3, 7 with the 2, 3, 6, 12 with the 4, 5 with the 1, 5, 7, and 8. $48 ticket.
I'm going to start with the 1, just like you, Terry. I imagine a lot of people will be focused on that horse. Any second race improvement, and the rest of these horses will be running for 2nd place. Derby Girl, this one, its first turf try was good enough to get the win here. Another one of those, Chris P. Angles, maiden horse that finished 2nd last time out. Only 1 horse to beat. I think that horse to beat will be the 1 horse. Poma, the 7 horses. Terry and I agree on the first 3 horses here. Rallied late in its debut. That was 7.5 furlongs. To give that horse an extra half a furlong in that race, it might not be in this race because it may have graduated already. And then finally, number 9, Saratoga Empress, the 9 horse. The first timer with the breeding that's so much better than every other horse in this field, Terry, that you have to consider it on that basis alone. Pick 4 for me, 1, 3, 7, 9 with the 2, 12, with the 4, 5, 8, with the 1, 5, 9, 10. And I chuckle because making a stand anywhere in this 4-race sequence was very difficult. I don't know if you had that same issue or not.
I did.
And on Monday at Del Mar, there was a $700 worth of superfecta. And well, we can do that. Too bad Charlie Manson didn't eat perfect size for a jockey. Interesting thought. Yeah. All right. So if you haven't done so already, Terry, what should people do to make sure they don't miss any more interesting thoughts?
They should subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the little bell so they're notified about when we're having programs coming up. And then go down and copy that link and share it with all your friends, relatives, neighbors. They can come and check us out too. Go to our Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Horse Race, the number 2 day. give us thumbs ups and likes. That helps us out quite a bit. And also any comments or race picks, we love to see those. Those are another way that you can help us get more tools through YouTube.
Yeah, once we get to 10,000 subscribers, we're like 5,500 right now. So we got a while to go, but if you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button on YouTube so that we can find our way to 10,000. They unlock a lot more for you as creators once you get to 10 grand. Also, today, free picks a little later on at Horse Racing at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link down in the description for Hawthorne Racetrack, right outside Chicago in Stickney, Illinois. I think it's about the only thing to do in Stickney is go to the track. So pretend you're in Stickney today. Get some free picks for Hawthorne at Guaranteed Tip Sheet using the link below. When the show is over at horseracingtoday.net, we will post our picks, our thoughts, and a replay of today's show. While you're there, hit the HRT gear. Get yourself a nice number 1 hat so you can look sparkling no matter where you are. And Terry, when the show is over, in the description on YouTube, we will timestamp every race so you can come back and watch them as like in race number 9. If you want to see what Terry had to say about a particular horse or his plays of the day, just go right to that race, replay it. You don't have to watch the whole show or kind of hit that bar and move across to kind of find where you want to be. Let's see, race number 2. Looks like they're about ready to go. Yeah, well, they're kind of still milling around a little bit before they get to the post. No racing tomorrow. Tom is traveling. He'll be at Kentucky Downs on Sunday. My plan, I was 100% yesterday. That plan is down to about 25% today, unfortunately. We'll see if maybe by the weekend it can rebound. But nonetheless, Tom will be there. If I'm not, make sure you stop by and say hello to Tom at the places where they carry chairs. Terry, you got to bring your own equipment.
Yep.
Bring your own picks.
That's right.
Speaking of which, I think I'm going to start on Monday when Terry and I come back for parks. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll probably do Horseshoe Indianapolis once again. I think we have one more week of Kentucky Downs, so maybe we'll do Kentucky Downs on Thursday. I'm not 1,000% sure. I believe that's the case. All right, so race number 2 right now. The 4-horse is your 2-to-1 favorite. Looking like, where do we find some value in this race, perhaps, Terry? The 5-horse, yes, we have it as a 4-to-1 type. Mm-hmm. Right now, it is 7-to-1. The 10-horse is 3-to-1, so maybe a little bit of value with the 10-horse. Anything else kind of jumping off the page there?
Nothing I can really see.
Well, maybe a little bit with the 11 because it's 20 to. We got a 13-to-1. It's 33-to-1. Some opportunity perhaps there to score with a long shot. Maybe the back end of your exactas, trifectas, that sort of stuff. Certainly 33-to-1s, no matter where they finish in the top 3, they help the payouts.
Yeah.
And they've zoomed out. Well, the truth is the entire race is zoomed out while you're watching it. So who the hell knows what's going on? All right. So I can tell you right now, the 3-horse is on the lead. The 10-horse is up there as well, along with the 4. These group have to be careful that they're not going too fast. The 3-horse has the lead. The 10-horse is sitting in the shotgun spot. The 4-horse trying to save a little bit of ground on the rail. Then there's that 6-horse as they come around the corner as they come their way. Up there around that corner, they look like they're about to head to that hill. Right now, the 3-horse continues to hold the lead. Everybody's kind of jamming up on these guys now. It's going to be a mad dash to the finish line. Here you got some horses that are trying to go like 55 miles wide. Kind of tough to go through those sweeping turns so far up the track. The 10-horse is in a good stocking position to win. The 4-horse is just waiting for some opportunity somewhere. He's going to be forced to go wide. 3-horse continues to hold sway. Right now, the 9-horse is one that's going to, looks like it's going to go. The 10-horse is going to be, I don't know, the 4-horse is going to try to split horses here. The 10-horse is trying to run away with it. Right now, the 4-horse is just all over the track. He's trying to catch that 10-horse. I don't know if he will or he won't. Yeah, he just pulled up alongside of him. It's going to go 4. Wait a minute. They're going to hustle down the line there. Wham! 10, 4, and 9. So we do have the exacta there, Terry. But that was a pretty close one there at the end. The 10 got the best of it. The 4-horse kind of running wild all over the track there. So 4-10. We're both a lot. Well, unfortunately, the pick 4 didn't start here. We would have been able to pick 2 horses on that leg, right?
That's right.
All right. Off to the next race we go, my friend. What's that, race number 8?
Yes, race 8.
All right, let's talk about race 8.
All right, so race 8, 6.5 furlongs, turf, optional claiming race, $80,000 claiming price, purse $200,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 2 races other than maiden, claiming, starter, or state bred, or which have never won 3 races, or a claiming price of $80,000.
And at 6.5 furlongs, the only race today at the 6.5 furlong distance. Tactical speed does pretty well. 11 of 33 horses, I believe, made the trip wire to wire. So, hey, some speed can do well there. So keep an eye out on that one. As far as the post positions are concerned, a little bit of a rail bonus for Fox Trotana. 2 and 3 get discounted. 4 through 7, a smaller discount than 2, 3, and 8 and out, they get a small bonus. So if you're on the rail and you're fast, you got a good shot. Does Fox Trotana have any giddy up and go, Terry? Indeed, she does.
Yeah, it's got the most speed in here, but there's a lot of horses with speed in here. And so if he can get out there, he might get to that quarter pole first, but it's another anybody's guess race, I think. The 1 has an overlay from 11 to 1 to 8 to 30 to 1. The 2 has an overlay from 2 to 1 to 9 to 2. 3 has an overlay from 5 to 1 to 6 to 1. 7's overlay is from almost 8 to 1 to 12 to 1, and 13 has an overlay from 10 to 1 to 20 to 1. All but the 4 and 5 have par plus numbers, and all of them show C zones.
Oof, a lot going on in this race. All right, let's see. Perhaps we'll see why Terry and I both agree on the 12 here. A bunch of PC types, a lot of horses with some volatility, with some ability to run in a lot of different ways. The 13 is a Sesame Street horse. The 13, higher standard, the only pressure horse in the field. So if you can stay in front of these group and right behind these group, has a good chance to maybe score with those late legs. Out to door, that one is the fastest of them all, about a length and a half quicker than everybody else at the distance where a third of them go wire to wire. It's getting a lot of speed, similar speed to its inside, so you're probably going to have to hustle. Also looks like Out the Door has some pretty good late speed, not quite as good as Implementation or Higher Standard or Anaconda, but still enough late speed that might be able to use that early speed and last to the finish line. You have here's our top 4, although Anaconda kind of fits in there as well. Maybe 5 horses to pick your trifecta from, Terry. How about you?
I like the 12 Out of Door as my first choice. He finished in the money in 8 out of 10 out of his last 10 starts, and he won 6 of those starts. Drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then 6, Bound for Nowhere. Second choice, won his last race at Churchill Downs, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. The 2, Implementation, is my third choice. He is 1 for 1 at Kentucky Downs and 1 for 1 at today's distance. And he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Anaconda, the 3, is my third, my long shot. He has 1 start at Saratoga and won that race there. Trainer is trained by Michael Maker and is ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr. No bets for me as I'm out of money.
Who won Kentucky Downs? Let's see. So in that race number 1, the winner was the 4 with the 6 and then the 12. Race number 2 just went 10, 4, and 9 in there. Great Burt Reynolds claimed the odds compared to the past because more computer-based handicappers. Yeah, I think those computer-based, they take a lot of the so like this, a lot of the stuff we do. I think a lot of other folks, I wouldn't say do similar stuff, but they're using computer models too. That's why a lot of times you see where we get an overlay, and you'll also see the overlay show up on the actual odds. As far as our race shape is concerned, we talked about the race shape. Terry made his picks, right? I'm going to make my pick too with Out the Door as my top selection. This guy, Terry, is oddball in some respects because he's a horse for the Kentucky Downs course. He ran 3 times, has 2 wins and a third. More often than not, horses, they do really well elsewhere and they go to Kentucky Downs and lose their form. And interestingly enough, this horse is making a rare third start after a layoff. Number 2, Implementation, the second choice. 1 for 1 at the oddball Kentucky Downs course. Lone Grass win came at today's distance. Clearing the 1 for me is the concern for implementation because he wants to be forward. Bound for Nowhere, the 6 horse. That one is my third choice. One is Lone Race at Kentucky Downs as well. So if Kentucky Downs form holds up, those 3 horses should do all right. The problem with this guy, he's 10 years old, but he does tend to come off the bench like many old guys, hot and ready to roll. That second time out, though, them legs are going to probably be tired. So it's either today or nothing. And then finally, number 1, Fox Trana. Enough early speed to take advantage of that inside rail bonus. And heck, first 2 races have kind of gone a little bit to form. Some bombs got to come in at some point, Terry.
That's right.
Race 9 begins the late daily double. This also means 2 races left for you and me. It's also a stakes race today on the card.
It is. It's 1 mile and 70 yards on turf, and it's the One Dreamer Stakes race. It's $500,000 purse, and it's for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won a sweepstakes in 2024.
How many sweepstakes races are there? I'm not that. Are you familiar with any of them? I've never seen a sweepstakes race before, so any horse qualifies, I guess. At 1 mile and 70 yards, they haven't run very many of them, only a couple of them. Closers won. Nobody got to the front and won. Both of the wins came from post positions 4, 5, 6, or 7. Only 2 races. Who knows? Speed might do the trick here, Terry, and there's 3 of them that seem like there are at least 2 of them that are a little bit faster than everybody else at the start.
Yeah, that 12 and 7 show the most speed, and they could go head-to-head to that quarter pole. And the 6 has an overlay from 4.5 to 1 to 6 to 1. The 9 has an overlay from 3 to 1 to 12 to 1. 10's overlay is 12 to 1 to 20 to 1. The 12's overlay is from 11 to 1 to 20 to 1. And the 15 has an overlay from about 9 to 1 to 10 to 1. All of them show par plus numbers, and all but the 1 and 2 show C zones.
So par plus, in case you're watching for the first time, what does that mean? It means that in our 10,000 simulations, that's what all that data is about there. The average speed figure, according to Brisnet, for the conditions today is 93. So when you look at that, 3,340 times, Immensitude popped a speed figure above that. And comfort zone is based upon our projected pace. We look at today's projected pace and compare it to all of the horses' most recent 10 races and see how likely this race is to mirror its best performances in terms of pace. And you can see there is almost a 90% chance Olivia Maralda is going to get a pace that, it likes. Our trip handicapping shows us, again, a field where most of the horses want to be in the middle of the back. A couple that want to be forward, there's that Olivia Maralda again. At the beginning of this race, Hidden Connection, Safine, Sister Luann, she's looking lucky. Again, a bunch of them really with some similar early speed. They'll probably come out in some hustled form. Not going to want to get caught wide. I think that's a dangerous place to be on that sweeping turn. At the end, the 4 horse, Papalilo, Stir Crazy, Sunbeam, Bolive, those 4 about a length faster and more than everybody else. They also are a part of our top 4 total pace horses, Terry. This one's won by closers. The 15, 10, 12, and 4 are the top closers in there, at least from total pace. And I don't see the 15 in any of our picks.
No, I like the 5 Sister Luann. She has 1 win out of 2 starts at Saratoga. Should improve while returning to the turf and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then the 4 Papalino is my second choice. Her best start speed is fast among today's starters. She has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then the 8 is my third choice. She has finished in the money in 4 of her last 5 races, winning 2 of the starts. Her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters, actually tied with another horse, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then the 6, my long shot, Olivia Marlada.
Yeah, close enough.
She finished 7th in her last race, but had plenty of trouble, but finished second in the previous Grade 1 race. And she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I have no money to bet, so that's it.
So again, the Kentucky results for the first race, they went 4, 6, 12. In the second race, they went 10, 4, 9. Those are your results so far at Kentucky Downs. Hopefully the results in race number 9 are what we think they are, because we have the same 4 horses, just in a little bit different order. Antelonian is my top selection because if you look through the turf resume, just about any one of those races would be good enough to win. Number 4, Papilio, I guess. I don't know. That's the second choice for me. Solid runner when it comes off the bench, like today. So I expect a pretty good performance. Sister Luann, the 5-horse, next up in my list as well there, Mr. Terry. Third start after a layoff. I think you got to toss out that last race. It was on the slop. The horse doesn't like that dirt kicking up in its face. Won his last Kentucky Downs race with ease. It was at today's distance as well, and I think it was for $500,000. Finally, number 6 was a tough call over to 12 for me, Hidden Connection, but I went with Olivia Maralda. We'll go with that. First 2 races in the U.S., yes. That last one, yeah, just got bumped at the start. I'm not sure if that's a good enough reason for a poor performance. But if it can bounce back to that first 2 race form, could find itself right into the winner's circle. No bets for me as we move off to the final race of this day and this week, Kentucky Downs, race number 10, Terry.
Yep, it's a mile and 5/16 on the turf, a purse $170,000. It's for maidens, fillies, mares, 3-year-olds, and upwards.
And sending $1.15 and 16ths. Again, you're looking for horses that can close, although 2 out of 9 did go wire to wire, so barbell approach. Give me speed, give me closers, Terry. It doesn't matter. The strong rail for Mochat looks like 2 and 3. They get whacked pretty hard. 4 and out, all a little bit better than par. So any horse except the 2 or 3, Terry, and you got a good shot to win, especially if it has either a lot of pace or closing. That's not today. That was yesterday. What about today?
All right. Well, you can see there that a lot of horses show some kind of speed, but the 8, 10, 5, and 9 show the most speed. So it's another, anybody's guess race who's going to get that quarter pole first. The 4 has an overlay from 5 to 1 and 6 to 1. The 5 has an overlay from, the 4 from 3.5 to 1 to 15 to 1. The 5 is 5 to 1 and 6 to 1. 8 has an overlay from 5 to 2 to 7 to 2, and the 9's overlay is from almost 5 to 1 to 15 to 1. All but the 12 have par plus numbers, although a couple of them are kind of low. And then all but the 7 have C zones, and that 12 has a really nice Q30.
Yeah, that 12 at 41% only has really almost no chance to get to the lead, at least from our simulations. Maybe trip handicapping and pace will tell a different story. 3 and 11, they have not been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. Everybody else wants to pressure or close. So I'd imagine that you have a pretty weak pace at the beginning, which could set up a horse that gets up to the front. Does look like Racontuni. I have no idea. Racontuse, I guess. I don't know. That one's about 2 lengths faster than everybody else. That one can get to the lead and probably just stay there, Terry. May not ever see the backside of another horse. Late Speed belongs to Public Assembly. That one's about 10 points, so 2 lengths quicker than Beautiful Pharaoh. Yeah, these names. All right. Top total pace horse. All right, I don't know. Okay, Beautiful Pharaoh, Lady Mace, Public Assembly, Racontus, I guess. Those are your top 4, although these 3 are considerably better than the rest. Pretty wide open race at the end of the day, Terry. How did you rank them?
All right, well, I like number 1, Mochat. Finished 3rd in her last race, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Appellate, the 7 is my second choice. Had a poor finish in her last race after stumbling at the start. But she's trained by Todd Fletcher and ridden by Irad Ortiz. And then the 8, my third choice, drops in class today, has a bullet workout on August 24th, Public Assembly. The 5 is my long shot. She has the highest last race speed rating. She's actually tied with another. Her best dirt speed is fast among today's starters. She has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 28% of the time when he uses second-time Lasix with a horse. And she has a high percentage winning trainer. So,
well, let's see what we can have happen in this last race at Kentucky Downs. From my perspective, I went with the 5 horse as my top selection. Where Terry ended off, I begin with Public Assembly. If it can build off its second career start, which was its first race on the turf, that'll be all that Public Assembly needs to win today. Mochat, Terry's top pick, my second choice. This is another one of those horses that just typical second race improvement gives the horse a good chance to win with that strong rail. It did debut at Presque Isle Downs, so there's clearly going to be facing better company today. But the strong turf breeding says Mochat should be able to handle that. Number 9, Beautiful Pharaoh. those American Pharaoh horses, Terry, for whatever reason, they love the grass. And it showed in the first turf try for beautiful Pharaoh last time out, tied for the top last race. Speed figure, if it can improve from there, it's another American Pharaoh turf success story. And then finally, the 10 horse, I want to just try to pronounce this horse's name 44 times so I can get it right once. So it's kind of like bacon and then toos. So rake and toos. We'll go with that. Any of its last 4 grass goes would be good enough to get the W here. I'm going to do try 159, 157, 910, 159 to close out the week, hopefully in the winner's circle. Terry, here are our full picks for the day. The 4 horse won the first race. The 10 horse won the second race. Here are our picks for the rest of this day. Again, in just a few minutes, Terry will post all of our thoughts, replay over the show over at horseracingtoday.net. A link in the description. Use that, or you can just go to horseracingtoday.net. But while you're there, you have to go to the HRT gear button, get yourself a number 1 hat. Of course, the NFL season starts tonight, so you can get yourself a Horse Racing Today NFL shirt. That would be, or I would get a hoodie right about now, to be honest with you, because I was reading that in Chicago on Sunday, the high is going to be like in the mid 60s. After coming off a bunch of 90s and stuff, the mid 60s is going to feel like it can snow.
Yep.
So you can get that there. And again, later on today, while we're in Chicago, Hawthorne, free picks, guaranteed tip sheet. Link in the description below. If you haven't done so already, thumbs up, smile, follow, like, subscribe. You know all that good stuff. Terry, what's the good stuff to go part ways for this weekend?
Well, go ahead and, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and get your friends and relatives to do the same by copying the link down at the bottom. There's nothing happens other than they let you know when there's some of our programs coming up. And then go to our social sites and give us thumbs up at YouTube, X, Threads, Instagram, and TikTok at Horse Race, the number 2 day. And that'll help us out quite a bit. We want to grow, and we want to grow a little faster than we have been. So,
the big name jockeys are in Kentucky right now. West USA is supposed to be hot. Yeah, I guess they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I also read like in Montana. So it's kind of weird, like how the country's going to be.
Yeah.
Because you have the heat wave by Terry.
Yeah.
You got the blizzards in the mountains of Montana and some snow up in like Minnesota and so forth. Chicago's going to get some fall temperatures, and it's probably, I don't know what's going to happen on the East Coast out there, but kind of odd weather. Well, it's the change of the seasons. That's happening. And pretty soon you head to beautiful places in the Northeast on those mountains, and you get to see all the leaves change colors. The only time I like to be in the fallish temperatures. One day I hope to be where when you look out my window, there's not a wall with a poster. There's an ocean. That's the game plan.
Yeah, it was 102 yesterday here, and it's supposed to be 104 today. So
I'm sure the people in the mountains, except for the skiers, would probably prefer that. All right, Terry, any final thoughts from you before we come back for Parks on Monday?
Just be safe and take it easy. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you next Monday.
Absolutely, 1,000% for sure. No matter what you do between here and next Monday. Hope you don't get any surprises, folks. And then on top of that, just kindly be kind to one another until we get back together again. Hopefully, some of your issues will be solved with God's favor, God's grace. And then every single thing you do between now and the time we get together again for racing in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, ends up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Hope to see you there. Hope to see you Monday. Make it a great weekend. Be blessed.